Greetings everyone, this is Rain of Tears again, and today I'm going to talk about, the general topic is going to be After Earth and my feelings about that and the scathing reviews that Will Smith received. Now, I already know that a number of individuals have touched upon this, national figures as well as individuals that post regularly on YouTube, and I pretty much concur with a lot of the feedback that has been given. Some of the points that in particular that I particularly agree with is Tariq Nasheed, famous brother who's known for Hidden Colors 1 and 2, as well as his, let's just say, his expertise in terms of giving advice in regards to relationships or whatever. But anyway, I really liked how he summarized the whole hatred toward, and it was almost seemed like hatred toward Will Smith in terms of After Earth. When the movie first came out, actually, even before the movie came out, so many reviews from national publications gave scathing reviews about it. This is the worst movie of the year. The acting is terrible. Jaden's acting is this. Will Smith is wooden. You know, he shouldn't play that type of role. He should get back to being like Bad Boys and Men in Black or whatever. And that just really got me to thinking. It's like, I've never seen this. And to say, first of all, to say that this is the worst movie of the year, even saying that before I'd even seen it, you know, there's a lot of terrible BS that's out there that everybody knows, particularly people that go to the movies a lot or want to go to the movies that want to go to the movies a lot, but you really have to screen and pick through the type of material that you want to see based on what you read about it, the actors, etc. And the pickings are slim. And when it comes to movies dealing with African Americans, the pickings are even slimmer. Now, you know, Tyler Perry stuff, you know, that's the big thing now, and I'm not going to get into critiquing him. I mean, that's been done at length. I mean, all I'll say is that a lot of his stuff has some stereotypical images that everybody's discussed at length. A few of his movies have actually been very good, but that's for another day. But right now, you know, he's like almost like the only game in town. Whereas in the past, you know, a few years back, you know, Spike and John Singleton were the only guys in town, or the big dog, so to speak. However, I must say that at least with their movie presentations, you know, they were bringing up controversial subjects, but addressing them in an intelligent and thoughtful and insightful manner, in my opinion. But with all that being said, with this movie After Earth that was released, it was universally panned. And it was almost like it was a concerted effort to bring the domestic box office down, and in that front, it actually succeeded. However, as others have pointed out, the international box office is another story. You know, it's kicking behind internationally. The last time I checked on some of the box office report reviews, you know, it was close to 280 million, which is on par with the top 7, you know, grossing movies, you know, internationally for this year that have been released. So, I mean, it's actually doing pretty well. Now, you know, the whole movie process, you know, they say that, you know, you have to make twice its budget to break even. And I believe the budget for After Earth was 130 million. But it looks like it's going to break even if you with the combined domestic and international gross. Now, the domestic gross was only 60 million, but again, that is part and parcel to the large extent to the scathing, constant negative chatter about the movie, you know, before people even got a chance to see it. And, you know, a lot of times, many people are like lambs. You know, this guy says the movie's bad, or I read this and they said it's bad, and I'm not going to see it. So let me just give you my take on the movie. I thought the movie was excellent. I thought it was well done. And as some others have pointed out, I'm not the only one that's coming up with this original thought. I mean, Will, you know, he's criticized for a lot of things, but in some ways, the brother really tried to do something really different. You know, the dynamics of a black family, mother, father, daughter. I'm not going to say anything more about that. I want to spoil it for people that want to see the movie. And of course, the son Jaden. And basically, he's letting Jaden come to the forefront. He has to come to the forefront to become a man. And I mean, that's pretty positive. And for science fiction movies, that is very, very powerful thing for black people to see, especially fans of the genre like myself. Because in most science fiction movies, you know, there's hardly any black people, if any, in the movie. And that's not just not a new phenomenon. From Logan's Run back to the 1970s, to the Planet of the Apes movies, you know, you'll have one token or a few token black people, and these individuals are usually killed off, just like in the horror film phenomenon. You know, the few black character or the solo black male or female, they're usually killed off, the sacrificial lamb, immediately. But in terms of science fiction movies, the genre seems to be that even in areas like when they're showing dystopia type stuff, in places where it's largely black, you don't have any black people in it. Like, there's been several movies that were made based in New York, beyond Escape from New York. Other like low budget type things, you know, like since New York, you know, has the architecture and notoriety, largest city or whatever, that's actually a good target or a good place, or has been a good place to film science fiction movies. That's obviously understood. Los Angeles, you know, being second. But anyway, these centers that have large black populations, large minority populations, you know, Hispanic presence and Asian presence also, those are rarely shown in these futuristic movies. You know, it's like, you know, and I'm getting a little tangential and I'll get back on track. Even the Walking Dead series, which is based on, for fans, aficionados of that, on a comic book series, the TV series, you know, when it first premiered, you know, it was centered in Atlanta because they were trying to make it to that center. And, you know, like 95% of the zombies were white. And that's ridiculous. In Atlanta? Come on now. And this event is not going to happen, was supposedly wasn't going to happen that far into the future. So it's not like you could say, well, maybe a plague or something wiped out all the black people or whatever. I mean, this was supposedly a not too distant time period, or actually supposedly now, where the phenomenon where people come back as zombies or whatever. So at any rate, that's how science fiction is for black people that appreciate the genre, have to deal with. So Will Smith is criticized for trying to get his brother, you know, a leg up in the industry, giving him some starring play. But I mean, nepotism is no new thing. Lloyd Bridges, Jeff Bridges, Bo Bridges, the numerous Barrymores, you know, culminating with the current Drew Barrymore. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. First of all, I mean, like anything, if you've got a foothold in the business, any business, whether it's the acting profession, medical field or whatever, if you can steer your child or relatives in that direction, you know, and give them some support if that's what they want to do, I mean, that's so-called the American way. But if Will Smith tries to do it, and also if he tries to present, you know, positive images and family relationships, and a son, trying to mentor his son and make him strong, and also too Will Smith playing a stoic, no nonsense type character, it's sort of like stereotyping the brother too, because like what basically to me, when I translate some of the critics, when they say, you know, like he's terrible in this role, he shouldn't do that, he should stick to being bad boys, excuse my bluntness on this, it's sort of like they're basically saying, you know, don't try to be serious, you know, don't try to be dramatic or whatever, just be a wisecracking dude like you were when you were in your 20s, when you were in the Fresh Prince, you know, some wisecracks, you know, and funny faces and all that. I mean, the man's a grown man. It's just like Alfonso Ribeiro, you know, his sidekick on that show on the French Prince. You know, he was on I can't think of the talk show host, Tom Joyner's show not too long ago, and was interviewed. You know, people asking the brothers still dance, do the Carlton dance. I mean, that's the mentality that they have. Then they say, oh, I'm just playing. I mean, a grown man. You know, I'm getting off track here. But that's my take on that. I mean, After Earth was actually a pretty decent movie. It had some good values. It showed the relationship, you know, bonding between father and son, you know, a young man becoming a man, and facing trials and tribulations and having to deal with these things and show courage in the face of adversity and in unknown situations. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with showing the bond between a strong man, a man that's a leader who has a good relationship with his wife, and, because of the type of job that he has, he had to be frequently away from the home and trying to maintain that bond between himself and his wife and his family. His loss of his daughter, whom he had a good relationship. The daughter, I'm still talking about After Earth. The daughter also had a good relationship with her actor son, that being Jaden in After Earth. So there were a lot of positive attributes to this movie. So before you go along with the crowd and downgrade the movie, or put the movie down and say, I'm not going to go see it because this critic said it's bad or whatever, if it seems like it's something that interests you, or what I'm saying has this piqued your interest, read up a little bit more or whatever, and then go check it out for yourself. That's all I say. Don't go with that, because just like, as I said, in most science fiction genres, and to a certain extent, or actually to a large extent, like in the horror genre, there are very few lead characters, male or female, in these type of movies. And when the few times that there are some, they're tokens and they're taken out quick. I also have to give some props to the original George A. Romero's original Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, the originals. He had two strong black leads, and I noticed in the remakes, the storyline was watered down, and they incorporated or co-opted and had white females or whatever. But anyway, check it out for yourself. See if you agree or disagree, and don't just go along with the flow, especially since there's so few strong or any black characterizations, positive characterizations in science fiction movies. So this is Rain of Tears with another opinion piece presentation. As always, I appreciate your taking your time to watch it and view it. If you feel free to give your own take and feedback, I wish everyone a good day. Take care and have a good one.